So for several years while training and teaching martial arts, I was pretty confident in my decision to train specifically Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I felt very comfortable with that decision over several years of training and growing. But then all that changed a few years ago when my professor, Professor Henry Matamoros, was at my school doing a seminar. He was talking to my students about his jiu-jitsu and my jiu-jitsu. And the way he was explaining it is he said that Professor Rad's jiu-jitsu is my jiu-jitsu, Matamoros jiu-jitsu under the Gracie lineage. He was going on to explain that Rad's jiu-jitsu is my jiu-jitsu, his jiu-jitsu, but it's Rad's jiu-jitsu. He said that Rad's Muay Thai informs his jiu-jitsu. It's part of his jiu-jitsu. And his jiu-jitsu informs his Muay Thai. It's part of his Muay Thai. He finished by telling my students that my jiu-jitsu was enhanced through my Muay Thai. And that's what made my jiu-jitsu different from his jiu-jitsu. And I never really thought of it that way. I always just assumed that I was teaching a specific kind of jiu-jitsu. Of course, I'm teaching the jiu-jitsu that I was taught, but I've also, of course, picked up moves from other professors, and I've also picked up just things that I've learned to do through my rolling and stuff like that. But at the core of it, I assumed I was teaching the same jiu-jitsu that he had taught me. I never considered that I was enhancing my jiu-jitsu due to my Muay Thai. More specifically, that I was enhancing my Muay Thai because of my jiu-jitsu. Because of that, I really started to pay attention to what I was doing while I was sparring and rolling and how I was teaching my Muay Thai and my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And yes, I believe them to be a winning combination. When I started with MMA, and I didn't have the wrestling that a lot of the MMA fighters that I was training with had. So that was a massive handicap going in, and I was getting dominated. I was kind of getting thrown around a bit by wrestlers. And then I didn't have jiu-jitsu yet, so I was getting out grappled and submitted. My only savior was going to be my striking because I had some traditional martial arts, and those traditional forms of martial arts that I trained in, they meant nothing. I was getting out-boxed and out-kickboxed and taken down and everything. So I really had to hone in on a specialty. So my first specialty I really latched onto was jiu-jitsu because that's where I felt like I was really getting manhandled and wrangled. So I just got really good at jiu-jitsu to where when people would wrestle me or take me down, they didn't want to be down there with me. I got really, really good at it, and I focused fully on my jiu-jitsu to counter the wrestling. Of course, you start to work your wrestling a little bit through training jiu-jitsu and so on. So then they started striking me, and I needed to strike. And I had really good kicks, but I didn't have good hands. I didn't know how to box. I didn't have a solid striking game. So one of my BJJ professors at the time, Professor Ethan Day, he's the one who said we should look into Muay Thai. And so I was always a fan of Muay Thai, and I was on the same page. I really did want that to be my striking base. But I was also super impressed by the boxers, so I wanted to have nice hands as well. But I really leaned into the Muay Thai, and I really started to make that my striking base, and it became a real problem because I really liked kicks, and I had decent kicks, but they were more traditional. But once I learned how to really do the Muay Thai roundhouse kicks and really do a Muay Thai style of striking, I was on to the next level. So that's how I really tied myself to these two specific styles. And through training these styles, I've kind of captured everything else. My wrestling developed through training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. My hands got way better through training Muay Thai because as I'm training Muay Thai, I'm also training boxing. I was working with boxing coaches and I was getting my hands nice and I was adapting boxing footwork to some extent and trying to blend it into the way I do my Muay Thai. And it became kind of a kickboxing hybrid. But through those two primary skill sets, I rounded out all my skill sets. And I felt that. I really did sense that I was improving kind of everything, but I still convinced myself that they were two primary skills that I was learning separately and that I don't know if they were really informing each other. Like I said, my jiu-jitsu was enhancing my grappling overall, so that included wrestling, and my Muay Thai was improving my other striking skills like boxing, but I didn't really put them all together. Like I didn't assume or think that my Muay Thai was enhancing my jiu-jitsu or my jiu-jitsu was enhancing my Muay Thai. I didn't see that connection until Professor Henry Matamoros pointed it out. Once he said that, then I started to pay attention. And yes, the way I clinch, the way I teach clinching, there's grappling in it. And I explain to my students that if you do jiu-jitsu, it's like grappling on your feet, which we do as well when we start our grappling matches. And just the ability to pummel and control, and there's whizzers that I use in a clinch that are foreign to a straight or strict Muay Thai fighter. There are just control positions that are not familiar to somebody who strictly trains Muay Thai. They have stand-up grappling, they have like a degree of clinch grappling, but they are not truly educated in the grappling, so the comfort isn't what it could be if you did jiu-jitsu as well as Muay Thai. Now, what exactly from Muay Thai informs my jiu-jitsu? I think it's just the roughness of it. I think it's just impact, which does happen whether intentional or unintentional. There is some serious balance that you gain through Muay Thai that's good when you're starting on your feet with grappling. And of course, mindset and mental growth and resilience, tenacity, you gain that in both of these martial arts if you train them individually, but I think you double it. I think it enhances even more. They are limits that you are pushed to and beyond in both of those martial arts, but they are not similar in their pressure testing and in how they overwhelm you. I mean, think about it. If you are a striker or you know a striker that kind of came to jiu-jitsu class or decided to start grappling, trying it out, they are overwhelmed, and they could have been doing Muay Thai for a decade. And sparring and even fighting in the ring doesn't have any effect on them. They've found their cruise control in that regard as far as like any kind of stress that may come about. But the stimulus that you get from the grappling is completely different, and it overwhelms them in a different kind of way, and the pressure is different, and the helplessness, and so it'll break them like anyone else. On the other side of it, I have grapplers who finally decide to try the striking, and they're so used to having so much control, and they don't panic when someone's on top of them, and maybe when someone clinches them, they're comfortable there. But where they're not comfortable is getting hit, moving around, keeping their balance on their feet, getting their combinations going. They're overwhelmed when strikes start landing in succession or hard or anything like that. It's a different type of stimulus on the striking side. So again, I feel it's important to do a striking and a grappling art. I really do. And I just feel that those two, again, together are a winning combination. But I always say to the masses, I say, the reason I consider it important to do both is, I always use this analogy. I say, look, I believe that you need to be able to walk on land and swim in the sea. I'm from the islands. I've always known how to swim. When I come across people who don't know how to swim, it kind of blows my mind a little bit. I feel like that's just a thing you need, like riding a bike and running. I don't understand people who don't know how to swim or never tried to learn. So with that analogy, I say, well, you need to be able to fight on your feet, and you need to be able to fight on the ground. That's like being able to walk and run on land, but you have no idea how to swim. What if you end up in the water? What now? So consider that analogy, consider what I'm saying, but I was just thinking about that, my Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, the combination of training both of those, because I've had quite a few people reach out, still asking questions about being able to balance the two and how to do it. And I talked about that in another video. In this video, I just wanted to talk about why, again, I feel like that's a great combination for you to consider if you can make it happen. Maybe your school doesn't have both options. I don't know if it's an option to train at two different places. Things become very complicated when trying to find a way to do both. For some people, it's very easy. Again, you're at an academy that does have both, and you're very lucky. And you have the time to invest in both. But if you've been considering doing Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu together, I really think you should. I think it's I think it's a great combination. I think it's necessary. I think if you're in this journey, if you're in the infinite game with the rest of us, as far as being able to train these martial arts for the rest of your life, I don't see why you can't keep adding to your skills. You keep growing by adding to your skill set. Okay, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.